was perhaps the only journalist in India who was assured of a front page slot. R.K. Laxman's Common Man graced the front pages of the Times of India for more than 5 decades. Acquiring an iconic stature of its own, these pocket cartoons conveyed the pulse of a nation in transition. Delivering powerful messages about the follies and idiosyncrasies of the Indian society, and at the same time, they mirrored the hopes and aspirations of the common man. In The Tunnel of Time, his autobiography, Laxman described the common man as a silent spectator. In his signature checked coat and dhoti, sporting a toothbrush moustache with big glasses and carrying a slightly bewildered look, he watched life and politics as it played out in a post-independence India. But the common man, as we know him today, was not the only avatar its creator, R.K. Laxman, experimented with.
You see, when we got our independence, I had to do a lot of cartoons on Indians and the common people of this country came to be drawn many times. And the common people are not the same. Bengali doesn't look like Maharashtrian, Maharashtrian doesn't look like Rajasthani or Punjabi or South Indian or Keralite. So I had to draw them every time when there is a matter of common man came into the theme. I had to draw all of them, which was time consuming. I used to draw a crowd of these people. Slowly I started eliminating one by one. The Rajasthani went, the Bengali went, this went, that fellow went. Finally there was one man standing and watching me, smiling. That was the common man, in striped coat, toothbrush, moustache, and black eyebrows, and large glasses, and big nose.
Laxman's cartoons had an astute ability to spot the real issue at hand. No politician or minister, however high or mighty, escaped his pointed satire. Deftly conveyed through the strokes of his brush, especially if they committed an act of impropriety or indiscretion. From Nehru to Indira to Rajiv, generations of politics went through his canvas. With his innate ability to look at the humorous side of a grim situation, this man gave India a lesson on humor, sarcasm, and political satire every day.
Man gets irritated by these things. It is the job of the cartoonist to make him laugh, looking at the ridiculousness, the irony, the paradox of his existence. The moment he sees a cartoon showing a bad road on which he himself has travelled many a time, a cartoon which makes fun of the potholes and the authorities who have not done anything, he laughs. That helps him to relax. That helps him to view things in good-humoured manner, in a good humour.
His huge canvas spanned local, national, and global personalities and issues, born out of his deep understanding of the cross-currents shaping the world.
Do you intend them primarily as comic representation, or are you also making a comment, perhaps even a critique?
Critique is better word of the society, of politics, of stupidity, corruption.
Today, many term him as the uncrowned conscience keeper of the nation, including those who were the closest to him.
You talked about discussion of his. You said it. I need to share one episode of that, and it was as recent as, it must have been 2008 maybe, or 2007. So it was one of those days when I had gone out shopping somewhere, and he called me and he asked me, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm just crossing the road, getting into the taxi to come home." So he said, "Oh my God, you're crossing the road, then I think I should put off the conversation, the call." And then I asked him why. So he said, "My cartoon tomorrow is about how people walk and talk, using the mobile phone, and how dangerous it is."
But the uncommon man behind the common man had a humble beginning.
Born in Mysore on 24th October 1921, R.K. Laxman was the youngest of 6 siblings, one of whom was R.K. Narayan, who went on to become India's most renowned writers. Laxman always had a penchant for sketching right since his childhood, and his innate talent found an outlet in his own house. Though the house no longer exists in its former glory, memories of Laxman's humble beginnings remain etched on these walls.
Son of a strict headmaster of a school, little Laxman was also the captain of his local rough and tough and jolly cricket team. And his antics were later depicted by elder brother R.K. Narayan in his famous short story series Malgudi Days.
They left me free to do what I like. Climb the trees, run across on the compound wall, jump, catch the birds, let them go. Things which usually are objected to by the parents, I was allowed to do.
Young Laxman was a self-taught artist, and after finishing his high school, he applied to an art school, hoping to concentrate on his lifelong interests of drawing and painting.
Who can train man like me? Nobody can.
But he was rejected.
And I told my parents I don't want to continue my studies because all my brothers were BA, BSc, MA and all that. One man, please let me go. They said, welcome, do it. I applied for JJ School of Arts. Bang came the reply saying that you show no talent whatsoever for drawing or art.
As bold a reply as that, you
Yeah.
have no talent.
Please continue your studies.
Instead, he chose to study philosophy and political science at the Maharaja College of Mysore, and also began to illustrate his elder brother R.K. Narayan's stories in the Hindu. He also contributed cartoons for Swatantra, a local daily, worked for Swarajya and Blitz, and also contributed for a Kannada humor magazine, Koravanchi.
His studies at the Maharaja College in Mysore, Laxman moved to Bombay and joined the Free Press Journal as a political cartoonist. But it didn't last there for long. A tiff with the owner of the newspaper over bashing communists led him leave the job. And in 1951, Laxman walked into this building that housed the office of the Times of India. And there began an illustrious career that lasted for more than 50 years.
In the beginning, when you joined the Times of India, they didn't permit you to do political cartoons, did they?
They did indeed, because there was this Berlin Wall and other things which suited the white man. I ridiculed Hitler, Berlin Wall, Mussolini.
But there's a wonderful story you tell in your autobiography of the editor who you went and met and said that you'd like to do political stuff. And he found his own way of encouraging you. You used to do cartoons for him to begin with.
I know, no, to him. And whenever I said, don't publish them, but have a look at them, because I would like to be a cartoonist. All right, he saw and laughed. Slowly what he said was, you should not have, you should have given that cartoon. And I started giving. From then on, the day he said, give it, I started giving.
The man who immortalized the passive, hapless common man with an uncanny perception never resorted to pettiness and vulgarity to achieve his goal. For instance, unlike many in his trade, he never sketched anyone as an animal. But his genius lay in the ability to find the right metaphor and the apt imagery to convey a sentiment.
My favorite Laxman cartoon was the day Indira Gandhi lost power in 77. You showed a shopping trolley full of the family belongings with little Sanjay
That's right.
holding a comic book in his hand saying, "I know, Mummy, let's go to the new colony on the other side."
Cross the river.
Do you think you were being a little cruel?
There is no such thing as cruelty. Whole humor, satire is a matter of cruelty. It's the way you look at it. What is cruel about it? A politician is cruel to the people, aren't they?
And a cartoonist is cruel to politicians.
R.K. Laxman, in Times of India also I must give credit to it, because they never pushed him from front page to inside pages for 50 years.
Towards the end of his career, Laxman bemoaned the lack of politicians with a personality.
What about today's politicians? Are they too bland?
Very bland and colorless. Stereotyped like rubber stamp. There is nothing like Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Vallabhbhai Patel, Kripalani, Maulana Kalam Azad. Each one had an identity which does not exist today.
Has the challenge gone out of cartooning?
It has to a great extent, because the cartooning, the politics has become corruption, cabinet, there is no fun anymore in it, because there is no personality. Reading the paper has become a bore, I tell you.
Featured on Indian postage stamps. The master cartoonist, however, was also famous for a number of other creations. In 1954, Laxman created the popular mascot for Asian Paints called Kattu. He also wrote a few novels, the first one of which was titled The Hotel Riviera. His cartoons have appeared in Hindi films such as Mr. and Mrs. 55 and the television adaptation of his brother's Malguri Days. In his own words, his favorite subjects outside of politicians were crows and Ganpati.
I became very fond of crows, which I draw even today. The one bird which you never noticed.
The grand old man of cartooning had another passion which only a few knew about. He loved collecting odd pieces.
Stone and twig and broken, anything which is uncommon, and he's always had an eye to have a stone here. I was shocked to see. I asked him, where did you get it from? He said, on the way from Bombay to Pune, the road. Oh God, and then we took it out. I wouldn't accept it as it was. Had it washed, and both of us washed it in everything possible, clean the ground and put the mat and then put the stone there, and it is there since.
For more than half a century, Laxman's common man welcomed India to a new day, and always with a smile. The creator of this common man is no more. The uncommon, the iconic cartoonist R.K. Laxman died in Pune on 26 January 2015 after prolonged illness. He was 94.
The legendary cartoonist was cremated with full state honors in Pune. Paying tribute to the iconic cartoonist, the Indian Space Research Organization posted online a cartoon, Common Man Reaching Mars, the last of R.K. Laxman's works, which he had sent to the space agency after the success of the historic Mars mission. The Times of India, which was the common man's abode since 1951, paid an elaborate tribute to R.K. Laxman, with the masthead dedicated to the cartoonist, who the newspaper described as the uncommon man. And with his passing, the newspaper said the curtain comes down on an era of humor that was one of a kind. Playful and ironic, astute yet childlike, razor sharp but malice free. In a nutshell, vintage R.K. Laxman. In his life, this master artist and political commentator won many an award, including the Padma Bhushan in 1973, the Magsaysay Award for Journalism, Literature and Creative Communication Arts in 1984, and the Padma Vibhushan in 2005. But the greatest award he gave the common people of India was a reason to smile every morning.
He's gone on to become the greatest cartoonist this country has.
Is it?